Hey everyone, Meteorologist Tuttle here with you. It is a Sunday night. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Now that some of the bans have been lifted, I'm sure a lot of you hit some of the stores out there and wore yourself out. So what we're going to do is talk about the storms coming in for tomorrow. So this is kind of a little bit of a different change than what things looked like last Thursday and Friday. Cold front's coming in, and it's going to help to trigger a couple of thunderstorms pretty close to Oklahoma City metro area, and then points north and east up there toward Tulsa. It might even be in parts of southern Oklahoma. Now, the storm threat is going to be for some big hail with these, and we're talking probably tennis ball size hail, so that looks like a legitimate concern. That won't be, everybody seeing it. Matter of fact, if you were to average out the entire state, you're probably looking at about 5% of the entire state will see some hail. And of that 5%, 1%, may end up getting the big hail. So it's a very small percentage of people, but those that are affected will obviously know it. So thanks for joining me. So we're going to get down to the details and all that. So let's sit back. This will be a relatively quick one because I need a shower and I got things to do. I got to get ready for bed. All right, so first things first, here's the Storm Prediction Center. They have a slight risk of severe weather here across central and eastern Oklahoma, and even up toward Missouri and Arkansas for tomorrow afternoon and evening. Now, they do break this down to categories. There's the wind threat. There's the hail threat. If you recall, this looks very similar to what it was the other day. Remember that big hail event we had with a lot of those storms? This looks very similar to that as far as the setup goes. Tulsa down to Oklahoma City. Now, they do have us in a 2% tornado ring. Now, I actually disagree with this quite a bit, but I'll tell you why here in a second. It's splitting hairs. It's not going to matter much. But what their wording is very strong heating will occur into the region with deep mixed layers, and the cap should erode in most areas along the front. Therefore, strong instability will linger into some severe storms. Large hail, damaging wind at times. Tornado or two is possible as well. Given the updrafts, any isolated storms will have localized damaging winds. But again, this is going to be mainly a big hail maker. So here's a look at the close-up view from the National Weather Service for tomorrow. Hail up to size in eastern Oklahoma, they're saying golf balls, but there's going to be some tennis balls up there. Winds also up to around 70, and also quite a bit of rainfall. We need the rain, unfortunately. We're not going to get it for many of us, but those that do, consider yourself lucky because the ground's starting to dry out. Here's a look at the severe weather risk over central and southern Oklahoma. Keep in mind, these graphics I'm showing you tonight from the National Weather Service will change. They're going to massage them based off the newest data that's coming in tonight and into tomorrow morning. And I'll be doing a live at lunchtime tomorrow to see how things change. Here's a look at the tornado risk as well here across east central Oklahoma. It kind of jives with that graphic we saw from the Storm Prediction Center. It's a very low probability. And the reason why, we go back and look at the analogs. In other words, if you take a look at all the storms in the past, and then we see how they kind of measure up to today's basket of what's expected for tomorrow, the variables. This is what it has for the hazard guidance. All right, so I'm going to pick the 10 severe reports of hail, and the percentages up here in the yellow and orange go up to about 40. There's a hot spot there, about 40% southeast of Oklahoma City, for example. Otherwise, rest of the state in the 20 to 30% probability of seeing at least 10 reports of hail. And some of that will be some significant hail, which means over 2 inches in diameter. If I were to look at the significant hail report of at least one report, there's a 30% chance of seeing that. Again, in east central Oklahoma seems to be the hot spot. So that is a big concern. Now, when you look at the wind, I go 10 wind reports. Look at this. Not so exciting. This is less than about 10 to 12%. So that's pretty lame. When you look at the potential for tornadoes, all right, let's look at one tornado. Looks like that hot spot here in east central Oklahoma, up to around 40% in that area of just seeing one tornado. However, when we try to look at probability of seeing 5 tornadoes in that area, drops way down, 20% in most regions. Anything more than that, it doesn't even show up, I believe. So that's the good news. And plus no significant tornado probability. So that's why we're kind of focused mostly on the big hail for tomorrow. Now, also we're going to hit tomorrow a big run on the heat. So right before this cold front comes in, we're looking at about 99 degrees here in Oklahoma City. 98 in Stillwater, 91 in Tulsa. In the 100s in Lawton, 106 down there. 106 across the border in Texas. I am not ready for this heat. This is summertime nonsense, and I do not want this summertime nonsense. Gross. Whatever, but we're going to get it. Part of this is because some dry air is going to come in with dew point values dropping. That's going to mix out the air and allow that to happen. Matter of fact, I'll show you the map here associated with that coming up. So here is a look at the high resolution models for tomorrow when we're looking at where the position of the cold front and the dry line, all that stuff comes into play. Now I'm looking at one model here, which will have the front to do something like this, and then you've got the dry air punching in right here on an area of not really a good meso-low on this particular model, but it does have a little convergence. So that's where these storms will try to fire up along this line, especially in northern Oklahoma first, and try to back build southward. Now the deal is, if when this dry line in the front starts to move too fast and too far east, it pushes the threat out of Oklahoma City. And so that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. I will, let's see, post two shots here as far as a potential look at how storms may evolve. This model is a little more aggressive at trying to produce storms south of Oklahoma City. So it jumps 3 hours ahead of time by 6 o'clock, but it's got the majority of the storms down here across south central Oklahoma and east central Oklahoma. And these will move south toward the Red River and then die out about, I think, 9 o'clock. As soon as the sun starts to set, they'll start to lose their punch here pretty quick. I'm going to switch into a high resolution model that comes in that we like to use a lot for severe weather. And let me do this right here. Get a closer view. And this actually won't be a long broadcast. I'll probably be done here in about 5 minutes. I know you're laughing at that, going, "What? You're never done that soon." Anyway, so here's a look at the storms here bubbling up right around Tulsa. Even Tulsa is trying to push them south and east of there. Now, I don't buy this model. I think the model's pushing the front too far south too quick. I think it'd be more like this position, which means that the storm should fire Osage County, back up toward Stillwater, and up toward maybe Arcadia, and on the east side of Oklahoma City, maybe down toward Norman. And I don't think much will happen back here in southwest of the metro area. I think there's too much dry air down here for the front. Therefore, the risk of severe storms will be out here across, say, the east central, northeastern Oklahoma, and maybe down here just kind of clipping I-35 area. All right, so that's where I think the sweet spot is, which is on this map just over my shoulder. All right, now let me show you the difference. Oh, here's a close-up view, by the way, of that more aggressive model, which has the storms kind of trying to line up along the front. So they're trying to go pretty quickly. But this is Oklahoma County, and this is Norman down here. So they're actually not even firing until they get around the Norman area. Again, very similar to that system we had not long ago, but this time around, storms more east and south threat for the Oklahoma City metro area. Now, when you factor in, let's see, I want to look at soundings out ahead of the environment based off the two different models. One has a lot of dry air to overcome for these thunderstorms, which means very high bases, which means you can't really get tornadoes in that situation. And that's why I wasn't really excited about the tornado threat. However, significant hail on the analogs go up anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 inches of hail. Back when you look at historical times, you try to capture this type of event tomorrow compared to the past. So in other words, the tennis ball size hail is a legitimate concern. Now the other model, it has a little bit on the hail size as well, anywhere from the 2 3/4 to about 4.5, but it likes the word tornado. I don't actually particularly like the word tornado because, once again, the cloud bases are way too high, up around 1,300 meters. It's just very hard to get a tornado. Plus, the wind fields are too southwesterly at the surface. So on this sounding, I'm focused mainly on the hail aspect of it. Now, the last model I'll show you, this is what I usually typically go with on severe weather and how things ought to play out. And this is the Texas Tech WRF. And it's got those storms bubbling up from just north of Tulsa, back here to just to the east side of Oklahoma City, and then kind of the cluster there. And then it'll try to develop one or two in this area, but it keeps most of the action into eastern and southeastern Oklahoma. And then it does die out once you hit to about the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. Those things kind of vamoose. So we've got about a 4-hour window because things should get going around, we'll call it 4 o'clock right up here at 4 o'clock in Osage County, things ought to start bubbling up, and they'll back build between 4, 5, and 6 in that area along the I-44 corridor into Oklahoma City by 6 o'clock. Then they'll continue to move south and east about the next 2 to 3 hours before they all vaporize. And these storms, again, will have some pretty good hail with them. And I believe, did I cover everything? I think I did. So there's your timeline. It's a late afternoon, early evening, mostly for northeast Oklahoma, in the east central and eastern Oklahoma, and parts of south central Oklahoma. North of I-35 from Oklahoma City, and west of that, bone dry. West of Oklahoma City, bone dry. Southwest Oklahoma, bone dry. South central down toward Ardmore, really low probability of seeing a few storms. But still, it is at least a probability. But again, most of the stuff should fire just, if I had to visualize in my head, the front comes in Oklahoma City, we start to get the clouds bubbling up upside, upstairs, you look at them, they're building. Then they don't really get mature and start, going to town and producing the hail and the very heavy rainfall. And once you get to about, let's say, the eastern parts of Oklahoma County, and then down maybe toward Norman, I think that would be the closest that we'd see them here as far as Oklahoma City metro region is concerned. And then they'll kind of go from there. So that is what I've got for you as far as severe weather goes for our Monday. After that front comes in, of course, and it cools things down. Finally, get rid of this heat that we had, that we're going to have tomorrow and that we had on Friday and Saturday. Unless you liked it. You may have liked it. I'm just not quite ready for it yet. I still want a little bit more of that pleasant spring weather before we get into that stuff. And then long term, we're going to have some storms in May because it's our biggest peak of severe weather. So we're going to have some of that eventually. But there's just no huge, signals in the very short term. We are going to get cooler this week, and you want to bring in some plants come Friday night, not for a freeze or frost, just the ones that are sensitive to temperatures in the 40s, because we'll be in the 40s Friday night, I believe it is. We'll talk more about that later. I'll do another blog, another live about it. Let me just look real quick. I'm going to go through, hit YouTube first. Rep Fluffy Man from Yukon checking in. And saying hello, guys. Gary's from Cleveland. Nikki's from Yukon. Oh, Yukon in the house over there on YouTube. Twitter, Periscope. Hey there. Good to see you. A boy, Jeff, joined. So I've been trying out and Rodney joined. I've been trying out the Periscope and Twitter here lately as well. This seems to be going pretty well. Yes, ton of good news there, Snowman. And then we've got on the Facebook Patreon page, on the closed group private page. Yeah, Lord, I'm with the Texas Tech model, the least amount of storms and the least, hail producers. Like I said, I'll do an update tomorrow at lunchtime to see if anything's changed with regards to, tornadoes or positions of when things will start or, the exact placement. Because usually those high resolution models we have, plus we'll look at the short-term obs of where the front is, and we can actually better gauge the exact position of the front in hours. We call it nowcasting versus forecasting because we're almost in the now window. So a few hours, from now, you can get that really, really good these days. All right, so Samantha likes that captioning. All right, on the main Facebook page, Roger. Hey, listen, the gym's opened up on Friday. I haven't gone to the gym in 2 months, and I need to go back to the gym. It's a release. Need stress release too. So Nate, nothing in Southwest Oklahoma but the heat. If you like 105 degrees, it's all you, buddy. You don't have to worry about anything else. So Holly, Lincoln County looks like it will be the jackpot for tomorrow. That's correct. Pamela, appreciate it. Jamie's checking in. She's late to the party. That's what LTTP is, in case you guys don't know. If you are late to the broadcast, you must declare yourself LTTP. That way everybody knows. And then they can help you out. So I will stop this broadcast, though, here in a second. You can watch the replay if you'd like. But short version is we got some storms coming in tomorrow late afternoon. Starting about 4 o'clock, Osage County, back building down through Stillwater area. Lincoln County to northeastern Oklahoma County on the east side of the metro. back down probably to about Norman, and then those will continue to build and move east and then die out after sunset. Some may build a little south of Norman. Any of these will have hail with them, up to tennis ball size is possible. Not a lot of them, will have the golf ball size and the 1-inch size. Those are always more common, but you will have a few of those cells that do get the big ones. Ron, 40s on Friday night, I know, right? So you'll have to, for Oklahoma City, you don't have to worry about anything up until about 5 to 6 o'clock. That's when that window opens up for storms for us. And as long as the models are right tonight, everything's on the east side of town. So it means Choctaw, Tinker, Moore, Norman, that area. We'll see if it backs up a bit, say downtown or maybe in the Edmond. But right now it does not look like it. That's a lot of you LTTP. What's wrong with you people? I need to put like a graphic up here that just says clip notes. That's all it says. Just check, clip, clip, clip. That's not a bad idea, actually. I'll start doing that. Clip notes. I just type it up. All right, listen, I can get out of here. I got things to do, including shower. So you guys have a great night. Sleep well. I'll see you at lunchtime tomorrow. I try to do them roughly around 12 o'clock, give or take. So it depends on how busy I am, what I'm doing. But that's the general idea. Just make sure you sign up to get Facebook notifications so you can know when I go live, and YouTube and Twitter. Between all three of them, you're bound to know I'm live at some point. All right? All right, you guys sleep well. Take care. Bye-bye.